Well, hello, win column. The Rockwall-Heath Hawks are back in the win column, and they are right back in the thick of things of District 11 6A. They beat Mesquite 52-24 on Friday night. They are now 3-2 in district play. Hello, everybody. Chris Curtis here for the Rockwall Sportscenter Heath Hawk update, joined by my partner in crime, Steve Deere, the Heath Hawks. So, Steve, taking care of business. Kind of get back in the win column again for Rockwall-Heath. They are now back in the playoff picture at 3-2, tied with two other teams in the district. So let's talk about the game first and foremost against Mesquite, a team that was eliminated by the Heath Hawks on Friday night from playoff contention. It kind of was what we expected as far as a dominant performance getting back in the win column. It was a must-win for Rockwall-Heath if they wanted to talk playoffs at all, and they did exactly what they were supposed to.
Yeah, it was a lot more fun than the previous Friday night, I'll tell you that. Look, Friday night or the Friday night before out in Tyler, that was an embarrassment. The coaches were embarrassed, the players were embarrassed. That was not Heath Hawk football. The Hawks over the last decade or so have really set a standard of excellence, and they're used to competing each and every week, maybe not always winning, most of the time winning, but they're not used to that kind of a performance, and they were embarrassed by it. And I've really expected to see them do exactly what they did Friday night and bounce back with a dominating performance. It's a lot of fun to see them unveil a couple of new wrinkles to the offense. Saw, I'm sure, a lot of shocked faces over on the Mesquite sideline when, hey, wait, what is this ball in the air? They're throwing the ball against us here. And very successfully, I might add. That added a really big new wrinkle that going forward teams are going to have to account for, and a big new wrinkle in the form of Desmond Williams, a running back, just plowing his way. Man, I tell you what, by the end of the game...
He's only a junior.
By the end of the game, I was literally afraid for the Mesquite defenders. He was leaving just a wake of bodies every time he carried the ball, and it was just impressive to see. So a couple of new wrinkles that people are going to have to account for going forward. A fun night out at Wilkerson Sanders, and a big win for the Hawks to get back in the win column.
And obviously, like you mentioned, it took Mesquite by kind of surprise with that passing game. Now I know they took the last week and installed some new things. And as you mentioned, they were embarrassed 2 weeks ago, but now you add the passing game. You add Desmond, who is a freak of nature on that field, man. He was plowing everybody. And, of course, Tyrus Ford and all the players that we have grown to love this season were making their marks too. So an overall great team win for the Hawks on Friday night.
Yeah, it really was. You could go on and on. Grant Buckholter really ran the offense very well. Everybody played well. And defense stepped up in a way that they had earlier in the season, was kind of missing the previous couple of games. They showed up again and dominated the way that we have become used to them dominating, and got back on track at the right time, because now we got a couple of tough weeks to end up the regular season trying to push for the playoffs.
You got to think happy Coach Moss after Friday night. So we'll see what he has to say after his team's big win over Mesquite.
It was a good win. It was a good win to get our confidence back, get our players' confidence back. Been in a two-game slump, and we went out and played hard. And the biggest thing is we still believe we're a good ball team. Coming off two tough losses, we still knew we had the capability to do what we did Friday night, and then the kids went out and did an outstanding job.
All right, thanks, Coach Moss and Steve. Now that we look ahead, it is a Monday morning here, and on the table next is no other than Longview, a team that actually is coming off of a loss last week to John Tyler team Heath played 2 weeks ago. So Longview is now coming in with their first loss of the season. They have a lot on the table as well. They can clinch a playoff spot with a victory over Heath, and Heath can almost leap themselves into a playoff spot, not officially, but they can definitely be really, really good shape if they can beat Longview and shock the world, essentially. I know nobody's really going to be picking them, but we have kind of reason to believe here that Heath can pull an upset and beat Longview.
Yeah, I think it might shock the world for everybody except over in Heath. Those guys believe that they can play with these guys and can beat these guys. Longview is very good, as always. I think Friday night was their first district loss at home in like 5 years. That just shows what kind of a program they are. I believe that they're probably maybe a half a step below where they've been in recent years. They're not quite as stellar as what we've seen Longview be in the last couple of years. Hope this doesn't get back and bite us if they see this, but that's what I believe is true. They graduated a lot of real talent last year, and they've had to replace them. Now, they've done a good job at that. It's a high-powered offense. They average almost 350 yards a game rushing, dual running backs. White and Polk are their name, and they've got like 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns combined on the year. And just as teams cheat up and try to stop that run, and it's a real power, kind of a pro formation type run, they've got a quarterback in Wyatt that can beat you over the top. He averages about 150 yards and a touchdown a game too. So they can beat you through the air and on the ground. So that the defense will have to play disciplined and have to play up to Hawk standards to do it. But, I felt that Tyler was the best team in the district, and they proved it by going in there and beating them. And really, I don't think the score was even indicative of how bad Tyler beat them on Friday night. I think they have one other loss in the year, too, the first game against Lufkin. So this was their first district loss. So they've lost a couple of games, a couple of chinks in the armor. And I do believe that the Hawks will not only be able to play with them on Friday night, but I think we've got a really good chance at beating them.
That was a jab at my Dallas Morning News friends. Say, hey, come on, pick Rockwall-Heath for at least 1 week. Come on, right, guys?
A little bit of
there needs to be some love. We're in Dallas, right? But let's take a look at the standings real quick as we check out to see where the Heath Hawks lay. Of course, John Tyler and Longview atop the standings. Here we got Rockwall. We got Rockwall-Heath. We got North Mesquite. We got Mesquite Horn, all vying for the final 2 playoff spots of 4. Of course, we can almost assume that John Tyler and Longview will probably be in the mix of things. So, Steve, with 4 teams really battling for 2 final playoff spots, it's really going to come down to the next 2 weeks. Of course, there's probably going to be a big game looming if Rockwall-Heath does drop this game to Longview in the next week with Mesquite Horn. Rockwall-Heath will travel to Mesquite Horn, of course, for that game. And, of course, there will be a number of other games that will decide who goes where. And, of course, it's kind of what we expected from the beginning. It's going to be kind of going down to the wire. And it's looking like we're going to be going down to the wire here.
Yeah, let's talk about a few different things here. If the Hawks beat Longview on Friday night, lo and behold, the Hawks are in the driver's seat for one of the top seeds in the playoffs, because they'll have the head-to-head that they won against Rockwall. They'll have, if they win Friday night, they'll have the head-to-head against Longview. They still have Horn the following Friday night. If they can win out, they're like the number 2 seed in the playoffs, but the number 1 large school seed. And so they really have it all in front of them still, and they're masters of their own fate. They can win out and get a very nice playoff seed, actually get a home playoff game. We thought that this Friday night would be the final game of the year at Wilkerson-Sanders for Heath, but if they win out, no, they'll probably get another home game. So if they split the last couple of games, they'll probably still get one of the 4 seeds, and somebody will be left out. But all they have to do is take care of business in front of them, either win both games or hopefully split at the very least, and they're in the playoffs.
We can look at all the scenarios all day long, but of course, the easiest thing to do for any team is to win out. Of course, you win out, you're definitely guaranteed a playoff spot, and you're definitely maybe guaranteed a home playoff game. But of course, for what we know right now, this will be the final home game for the Hawks. Fingers crossed for the Hawks. And, of course, it is going to be senior night this Friday. We will say goodbye to a few of our seniors. It's a very young team this year, but we still have a lot of leaders, Buck Holt to name one, that are going to be leaving us. So they want to definitely leave their mark on the Hawks programming. And I've kind of looked back to games on the last couple of years here at home, especially in my tenure here, and it's my 4th year. This might be the biggest Heath Hawk game since I've been here, aside from a Rockwall versus Heath game, as far as Heath Hawk football. This is huge. This is a game that we need all the fans to come out to. We need noise. We need everything you can bring, because you got a really, really good football team coming to town, and there is a lot on the line for both squads here. Yeah,
for those of us that have been around the program a little bit longer than you, we can remember back to the 2008 Highland Park game, the state semifinal run, even a couple of years ago when they went 3 deep and played John Tyler down in Waco. But you did say regular season. Since you've been here in 4 years, yeah, it may be the biggest regular season game at home aside from a Rockwall game. And we do need the crowd there. We do need the support. You know what? I see the scenes from the Rockwall game, the videos that have been put together for that, and just a fanatical crowd, the great support. The players talk about how the energy from the crowd really fed them, and they were able to feed off of that. We need that Friday night. This is a big game. This could go a long way towards determining Hawks high seed, low seed, seeded all in the playoffs. Turn out, bring that energy that you had earlier in the season. Let's support these kids, and let's bring the energy and feed them that energy and help them along Friday night.
Of course, if you beat Longview, who knows what that does for you as it pushes you forward off into the playoffs. You never know where it might end or where it might end as far as AT&T Stadium in December. You never know. So hopefully that is a great launching point for the Rockwall-Heath Hawks. And, of course, want to give a quick shout real quick to the not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5-time district champion Lady Hawk volleyball team. They defeated Rockwall last week 3-1. They are your district champions, and Rockwall ISD basically run 11-6A in volleyball. So congratulations to them. Lady Hawk basketball kicked off last week, and of course the Hawks kick off this week. So a lot of exciting times here at Rockwall-Heath High School in general, and a lot of winning being put forth from Rockwall-Heath.
Yeah, I mean, all of the sports so far. Tennis played at the area finals down in Houston last weekend, and the JV team, the tennis team, has their area finals tomorrow, I understand. Basketball's about to kick off. The boys expect to have a great team again. Laura has another good girls team that I think will do well this year. Across the board, Heath Sports has done very well so far this year, and we're only 2 months in. We got baseball to go. We got the full season of all the basketball. We got wrestling, defending state champs of wrestling. We got so much to look forward to still, and we've already had a lot of success. It's shaping up to be a really big year sports-wise out at Heath High School.
Winning never gets old, does it?
No, it does not.
Hopefully the Hawks can keep winning on the gridiron. Of course, it's this Friday night. It's senior night. It's Rockwall-Heath versus Longview. It's going to be a fun one, so bring the noise and bring the funk, of course. Of course, if you can't join us at the ball game this Friday, it's www.rockwallisd.com to join Steve and his crew. Steve, any final thoughts? This is a very, very big game for Rockwall-Heath. So much on the line. It sets up for a very exciting finish for Rockwall-Heath.
I'm just going to say it again. Bring the bodies out to Wilkerson Sanders. Bring the energy. The guys do feel the energy. When the energy's not there, they feel that also. So pack the stands. Let's bring the noise. Let's bring the energy, and let's help the guys get a victory Friday night.
Let's do it. Let's beat Longview. We'll see you Friday night at Wilkerson Sanders Memorial Stadium. Have a great week, everybody. Don't forget, go Hawks.